My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. What you know, Froot Loop?
I'm in a food coma.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I cooked tonight, and mashed potatoes, southern mac and cheese.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You know, the mac and cheese pie. Oh, yeah. It's a family recipe. Yeah, it was good.
Nice, nice. Well, I have to say, we've been doing this since last June, and I think the last week is the busiest we've ever been on this podcast.
I can't keep up.
I can't either. It's like 12 plus hours in this room every day on the computer. I mean, my notifications look like a slot machine in Vegas, and you pull the handle and it just keeps rolling.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Between Murdoch and Gabby's case, it seems like every hour things are breaking.
Yeah, and we have a ton of people reaching out. And we read them. We just may not respond to all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I haven't even been able to touch YouTube lately, and I feel so bad.
I've been on there looking, but it's just hard to keep up.
Good. Well, I'm glad you got that. I try to keep Twitter and Facebook are where I focus, just because I know a lot of our listeners work. And so I try to keep things current and keep them out there. But boy, it's been consuming and it's been late nights, but it's all good because we love what we do. And tonight we're going to have 2 episodes because we just have too much to cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So first off, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Andrea at 2 Cool T-shirt quilts. If you look behind me, I'm going to have to duck down, but these are 2 of the pillows that she has done for us. I'm a huge Clemson fan. Froot Loop is a Gamecock fan.
Boo, boo, boo.
And
Andrea, what's up with the Clemson one? I'm a Carolina fan.
You guys are, see, there you go. Because she didn't want to even mess with that. She didn't even want to. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so here's my deal. I will root for Carolina if they're not playing Clemson, because I'll always root for an in-state team, but I'm a Clemson fan. So anyways, check out 2cooltshirtquilts.com/Pretty Lies and Alibis and check her out, because this is just a couple of things she can do with your t-shirts. And it's nice not to just have them stuck in a drawer.
Yeah, really cool.
So
really cool.
we want to you want to give a big thank you to somebody.
Yeah, thank you to Debbie for your sympathy cards. We have Terry's memorial service coming up Saturday, so thank you for that, Debbie. You're awesome.
Yeah, very thoughtful. Debbie's so good to us. Like every week she's sending us a little card or something, and we really do appreciate it. So we're going to jump in because we got a lot to do tonight. So Josh Duggar, there's been a little bit of some developments with his defense. And what are they wanting to do, Froot Loop?
Yeah, so Josh's attorneys are fighting to keep the photo of his hands out of his trial. And we talked about this a little bit before. If you remember, his defense attorney said the photos taken after he was in custody should have required a separate warrant. And they also complained the photos were taken at odd angles. This is photography 101. investigators say that Josh consented to the photos being taken. We talked about this before. It was really weird.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes a little bit more sense now why they want to keep it out, because apparently the photos show a distinct scar on his hand that matches some images that they seized from his devices in this child abuse materials probe. So it kind of makes me wonder, and it makes me worry. What have they found that would show his hand? I mean, I hope to goodness it's not a situation where they have found he is recording things. I mean, because otherwise, why would you fight so hard to keep somebody's hand out of court? I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but we'll see what happens. He has a pretrial conference on November 18th, and the trial is set to begin on November 30th. And as of right now, that seems to be on.
Yep.
I really want to see this guy go to jail. He's been a predator for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's
totally
consistently just something with him every few years, just sleazy. And I don't know. I just don't like thinking that he's out breathing free air with those of us who are decent and have kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's scary.
Yeah.
That there's
He has
tons of people out
kids.
there like this.
He's like
Yeah.
7, or 7th's on the way. I mean, oh gosh.
Yep. So we're going to jump right into Gabby Petito. We have had some of you guys, I've seen comments today that you were traveling through the area or knew someone traveling through the area. So the number to help out with this case, if you have any tips or anything, is 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you saw anything, and remember, it could be something very minute that you don't think is a big deal, but it could be a big deal.
Yep.
So Brian is now a person of interest.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. This whole story doesn't make sense.
No.
But so Northport police issued an update on the investigation today. Since Brian and Gabby live in Florida, Northport will be the primary investigating agency in the partnership with the FBI. They did say it's like Suffolk County, right? Wasn't that?
Oh, you put me on the spot?
No, I know. I think that's what it was. That they'll still help in any way they can.
Right. But I think since they lived with his parents in
Yep.
Florida, that's who's going to head it up. But they're, the FBI will be involved too.
Yeah. So detectives are working around the clock to piece together what they call a complex and far-reaching situation.
Right.
That area is just such a huge area.
Yeah. Sarasota is beautiful. I've been down there, and it's really a pretty part of the country. So the van was recovered from the home that Gabby and Brian share with his parents. And as of last night, the FBI had fully processed the van. And here's the thing, and this is kind of my big issue with Brian, is he's not made himself available for interviews, and they said he has not provided any details.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look, there's one thing if maybe now we know they had an argument so bad that a third party was concerned enough to call police. And we don't have those notes ready just because we've been crazy busy. We're going to maybe do that in the next day or two. But when you're not talking, I understand you lawyer up. I mean, I think you're kind of crazy in America these days, even if you're completely innocent, not to lawyer up. What is a red flag for me is the fact that now that he is a lawyer, you still won't even say anything. Like it sounds like radio silence.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't know what happened, but
No.
if they decided to go two separate ways, one, it doesn't make sense because that's her van.
Right. Exactly.
But even if that was the case, he could at least say, okay, this is the last place I saw her.
Mhm.
Like, this is where I was when I saw her
Right.
last.
Yeah. Or you say, hey, we had a fight. She decided to walk away. I mean, because
And I haven't seen her. Yeah.
right. But in the paperwork that they released today from this altercation, I mean, she was afraid he was going to leave her, and she was trying to get in that van, which was part of the altercation, I believe, that prompted this person to call. He tried to lock the doors.
My point on that, if me and you are off somewhere and we get in an argument, I would never think you would leave me there.
No.
For her to think that he was going to leave her there says he's done it before.
Yeah, exactly. So Brian, his lawyer issued a statement. This was yesterday. And I thought this was the most cold statement for somebody whose girlfriend of a couple of years, and some people say it's his fiance, some people say they were just boyfriend and girlfriend. I thought this was so cold. This is an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. I understand that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment. Number one, Miss Petito, that is so cold. Number two, reunited with her family, not her boyfriend of 2 years.
Yeah.
Nothing in there that he's worried sick about her. He doesn't know where she is. Curious to see if he tried to call her on his way from Wyoming back to Florida on that drive. That's going to tell you a lot right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how mad you are. I mean, I've been in relationships where you get into arguments and 2 hours later you're texting or calling because, you realize things get heated. If he didn't try to reach out to her one time, that's going to tell me all I need to know.
Sure, exactly. So Gabby's family quickly issued their own statement, taking a shot at his family. The Smith and Petito family are going through the worst moments of their lives. Their beautiful 22-year-old daughter is missing, and the one person that can help find Gabby refuses to help. Brian Laundrie was traveling with Gabby in the Grand Teton, Yellowstone area. They were traveling together in Gabby's 2012 Ford Transit van. That is where we believe Gabby was last seen. Brian is refusing to tell Gabby's family where he last saw her. Brian is also refusing to explain why he left Gabby all alone and drove her van to Florida. These are critical questions that require immediate answers. The Smith Petito family begged the Laundrie family to not remain in the background, in quotes, but to help find who Brian referred to as the love of his life. How does Brian stay in the background when he is the one person that knows where Gabby is located? The Smith and Petito family implore Brian to come forward and at least tell us if we're looking in the right area. So today, the Northport police tweeted to Brian's lawyer, Mr. Stephen Bertolino, the at Northport police needs your help in finding Gabby Petito. Please call us to arrange a conversation with Brian Laundrie. 2 people left on a trip and 1 person returned.
Boom. Nothing else needs to be said because the family and the police department said it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. And I'm going to tell you, after I read that report today that we'll get into on the next episode, for a second, I kind of maybe thought there was a little bit of hope because essentially what they said in there is that when officers got there, Gabby was very upset and they kind of considered it more of a mental breakdown as opposed to a domestic violence incident.
Yeah,
and Brian,
emotional.
Right. And Gabby and Brian both admitted that they have extreme anxiety. She was very upset so much that she couldn't really formulate a sentence without having just this physical sobbing or rubbing her leg, when you're anxious. The thing that bothers me is at first I sort of thought, okay, well, maybe if she's having this mental struggle, maybe she just walked off and he doesn't know where she is. But why did he tell cops that?
Exactly.
Why would you drive from Wyoming to Florida and not call Wyoming police and say, I'm afraid she's having a moment with her mental health and I'm worried for her safety? You don't just drive back to Florida and then 2 weeks later wait for her family to raise the bell. And that's why, as much as we like to be positive in these situations, his actions alone don't make me super hopeful because we're jaded and we've done this so much.
Yeah. And 2, Utah in that area, human trafficking through Arizona, all out that way is huge there. So that's the thing. If that was the case, just tell them this is what happened.
Right.
And just be honest and help.
If you're not lying, they can question you 50 ways to Sunday most of the time and get the same answer. Now, I know there's been cases where they interrogate somebody for 48 hours and they give a false confession or whatever. I'm not worried about that here. He's got a lawyer sitting beside him who's not going to let him answer something that would compromise a defense.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that really bothers me is his parents refuse to let investigators have access to him. And this is a 22-year-old man.
Yeah.
Mom and dad need to step aside and let their son be a man and answer for why only he came home. I don't get that. The van, as we said, underwent the forensic exam last night. They were friends first. I think they went to high school together. And then in 2018, they reconnected and fell in love. And on Instagram, Gabby announced that they were engaged on July 2nd of last year, 2020. However, the mom sort of indicated that maybe she had heard about some relationship issues and that they were more boyfriend and girlfriend, and that they realized they were young. 22 is super young. Me now at 43 looking back, it is young. And you want to tell these kids, like, go travel, go hang out with different people. Don't settle down at 22.
Yeah. Yep. So they both worked at Publix in the months before they started this road trip. Police were seen on Tuesday going into the boyfriend's parents' house with a pink piece of paper. Her Instagram had been removed overnight. I think it's back up now.
It's back up, and Instagram issued a statement saying they were the ones that pulled it down, because what's crazy is sometimes people just suck. And so what they're finding is that people are creating these duplicate Instagram accounts as if they're her, and they're doing it for clicks or whatever. But really what they're doing is messing up the investigation, because I'm sure law enforcement has to take a very close look at every one of those to make sure it's not her.
Yeah.
People need to just sit back and let law enforcement do their job and quit being knuckleheads.
Yeah. So we know they did say he returned home on September 1st.
Yeah, that's what we learned today. So
Yeah.
just
so we know her
shortly after.
mom spoke to her on the 25th. Yeah. And he returned home on the 1st.
Right.
That's a long time. But the deal with the van, like, we know the cops went and got it, so they have it.
Mhm.
But how do you? It's not your van.
No, it's in her name.
Yeah.
But see, the thing that, and maybe I should inbox Scott Reich to ask him, at what point can they say, excuse me, he's driving her van across state lines? So is that a way to get him in and question him? However, even if they do that, they're going to have something in their corner, or otherwise they bring him in and question him, and then they have to let him go.
Yeah. I mean, that's my deal. If the police need to talk to me about something, I can't just hide out and not talk to them. You know what I mean?
Right. Unless they detain you.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, he
these are
doesn't have to
hours.
talk.
Yeah, and the thing is, these are hours that the family's losing.
Right.
If he knows the last time he saw her was somewhere else besides where they're looking, this is wasting their time, because she could be somewhere else.
You're exactly
So-
right. And not only that, but in the chance that she's alive and he left her out in the wilderness, it gets cold out there at night. She's exposed to animals and elements, and it's just a whole host of danger for her. So for me, I have no sympathy for this guy. I can't wait until we get that news alert that they've got enough evidence at least to bring him in.
Yeah.
It's just
So he has
smug.
to answer some questions.
Ugh.
Come on, dude. Be a human. Be a human. So you're jumping back in. There was a third party called the cops?
Yeah, and this was on August 12th. And before we get into this, I just want to say there has been a lot of speculation about the two women, the married couple that were found shot to death in Moab, which is, they were there around the same time as Gabby and Brian. I'm going to tell you, like, a lot of people have asked our opinion on this. I mean, right now, I really do think this is a big coincidence. I don't know this guy, Brian. He's very shady, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think he went out there and just started killing people. And we know now that whoever called the cops to report this was somebody named Chris or Christopher.
And they weren't even at the campsite. They weren't in the park per se when that happened. They were somewhere else.
Yeah. So they didn't arrest Gabby or Brian. No charges were filed. And what they did was they separated them for the night, or they encouraged them to separate. They sent Brian to a hotel. Gabby stayed with the van, although we don't know where she stayed, if she stayed in the van or went somewhere else. And they really didn't want to be separated, but I think they knew that they probably escaped charges by the skin of their teeth based on what I've read. So Gabby's mom said that Brian's mom, Roberta, loved Gabby like a daughter and was really excited about the engagement. But the thing that really made Gabby's mom think is that Roberta would not return her calls after they couldn't get in touch with Gabby. So, and then she also said that Gabby and Brian had put their engagement on hold because they felt it was a little fast and they were young. And Gabby's dad said that he never saw any red flags in the relationship. And remember, he moved to be close to her in Florida. And he said he would have been up in arms. That was his words. If he had seen any red flags that this was an abusive relationship or anything like that.
Yeah. So in Gabby's last Instagram post, she is seen posing in front of a butterfly mural. That's a weird
Mural.
word.
Yeah, you got it. You can say
Mural.
rural. Did you just say rural?
I have a friend, Muriel is her name.
I like that
That's
name.
why, yeah.
Muriel's Wedding is a really good movie.
I haven't seen it. So the business, the Monarch in Ogden, Utah, confirmed this was their building, and they say they're going over their surveillance videos to see if they can spot when Gabby was there. That was posted on August 25th, the day she was last heard from.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we are in this investigation right now. It's like I said, we'll get more into that police report on the next episode, not tonight's episode, maybe tomorrow or Friday or over the weekend. Not sure what's going to happen, but it just seems like a lot of back and forth between the families. I understand Gabby's family's, the fact that they're just upset. And I just, I have 2 daughters. I have a son. I cannot imagine not knowing where my child was, whether they're 10 or 20 or 40. It has to just, I don't envy those people at all. And I just hope that regardless, sooner than later, they get some answers. The FBI is great at this stuff. They're going to know by cell phone or car GPS or surveillance around the areas, maybe a good idea of where they were and when.
Yeah.
So I think when the FBI comes on, you're not getting too far. So if you've got some culpability in this, it's a matter of time. You can pay the piper. So in the meantime, we'll just send some positive thoughts out into the universe for Gabby and her family. And we will keep you updated on social media for any of this stuff.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. We will see you soon with the Murdaugh episode.